Sometimes when you start a journey, sometimes you are not aware of what you are going to meet ahead. And God, He has a tendency of just calling us and never telling us the journey He is taking us through. And therefore, as I kept on growing spiritually, one day I remember a few years ago, God just dropped a verse and He told me, actually we were many, a group of campus students, like 11 years ago. And the verse He dropped in our hearts was the verse, I think, in Ephesians. Media team can help us, Ephesians 5. It talks of coarse jokes, jesting. If the media team can help us with that verse. And at that particular moment, I never understood really what God was communicating into my heart. And therefore, it took some other time for me to sit down and to start meditating upon what God was speaking to us by then. Good. There is that verse, specific verse, talking about coarse jokes, jesting, but I believe it is in the book of Ephesians. So as I kept on meditating and asking God, this is the verse. Can go back to verse 3, kindly. The Bible says, but fornication and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not even be named among you, as is fitting for saints. Just stop there. By then we were young. I'm not trying to say I'm old, I'm still young, but I was younger than I am today. And, one of the things young people do is when you start serving God, you have a lot of fire. And therefore we confuse it for many things. And as a result, you might find yourself doing sin, thinking that you are fiery and you are so spiritual that you cannot fall. And therefore, when God started pouring this verse into my heart, I was like, God, are you real? Because according to how I have served you, you cannot be communicating to me things to do with fornication. I'm in church, have been serving for quite some time. And actually, when He was speaking to me the very words, we were on a crusade ground. So when He started highlighting fornication, uncleanness, covetousness, I couldn't understand. But as the time kept on going, I came to understand, for young people, the closest sin is fornication. And especially when you want to transit now to marriage. So I never understood. And therefore, let's go to verse 4. The Bible says, neither filthiness nor foolish talking. This is one of the areas Christians, we are not good. Foolish talking. And God can judge us because of foolish talking. In fact, the Bible says there is one woman who spoke to his husband as though she was foolish. So foolish talking, according to God, when He sees a person who is foolish, you cannot go far. But now the major thing was coarse jesting. I never understood this word. Can you give us NIV so that we can understand better, or NLT, whichever? Well, the Bible says, nor should there be obscenity, foolish talk, or coarse joking. I don't know how many of us has ever realized that joking can get into an extent it becomes a sin. So I never knew what God was speaking by then. So anytime we finished preaching or ministering, we could get into where they had prepared for us, and we started talking, and it could go overboard. Have you ever shared something and you are like, after that meeting, you are guilty of why you spoke? So it started reacting to my heart. So anytime I found myself in that meeting or in those meetings, I could leave. Others are okay, but my heart, inside my heart, I'm guilty. So I started asking God, what is this? So The Bible says, which are out of praise, but rather thanksgiving. In fact, the Bible says, instead of all these things, can you give thanks? So it took me a lot, even when we get to churches and we are told, let's give thanks. A lot of people, they are not giving thanks.